Florida, once the ultimate destination for retirees and sun-seekers, is now facing a full-blown economic disaster. What was once a paradise of beachfront condos and booming suburban neighborhoods has turned into a financial nightmare. Home prices are plunging as inventory levels in some areas skyrocket by 200 to 300%, flooding the market with desperate sellers. Many homeowners are slashing $50,000 to $100,000 off their asking prices just to escape skyrocketing expenses. The biggest culprit? Insurance. Average homeowners' insurance premiums that once hovered around $2,500 per year have now surged to an unbearable $8,000 to $12,000 annually, destroying savings and wiping out decades of equity. The Sunshine State's housing market crash isn't a future prediction. It's happening right now. Florida has become ground zero for America's real estate crisis, and experts warn the worst may still be ahead. Number 1. Tampa. Tampa, once one of Florida's fastest-growing and most competitive real estate markets, is now facing a steep downturn. Between 2020 and 2022, Tampa home prices soared nearly 65%, jumping from $260,000 to $430,000, fueled by mass migration, investor demand, and the short-term rental boom. But by 2025, the housing market is cooling rapidly. Median home prices have dropped below $400,000, down 6 to 8% year over year, with inventory surging more than 200% compared to 2021. Nearly 37% of listings now show price cuts, with reductions of $25,000 to $75,000 becoming common. Affordability has collapsed. A median income household earning about $70,000 faces mortgage payments of $2,800 per month for a modest home. And that's before adding $6,000 to $9,000 annual insurance premiums, property taxes, and $400 to $600 monthly HOA fees. Investors are retreating as Airbnb and VRBO rentals flood the market, driving nightly rates and profits lower. Landlords are offering rental concessions, including free months, just to fill vacancies. The psychological shift is dramatic. Tampa's buy now or be priced out frenzy has turned into hesitation, with buyers waiting for prices to fall further. Appraisals are coming in tens of thousands below asking, causing sales to collapse. Tampa's fall from boomtown to breaking point makes it one of the most critical warning signs of Florida's 2025 housing crash, and a sign of what could spread statewide. Number 2. Jacksonville. Jacksonville, Florida's largest city, is in the middle of a housing market meltdown that feels more like a slow-motion crash than a mild correction. Between 2020 and 2022, home prices skyrocketed from $230,000 to nearly $230,000, $360,000, driven by remote workers and investors pouring into the market. But by 2025, the boom has gone bust. Housing inventory has surged more than 300% since 2022, topping 10,000 active listings, the highest in over a decade. Nearly 40% of homes now have price cuts, with sellers slashing $20,000 to $50,000 just to attract buyers. Skyrocketing insurance premiums are crushing affordability, with many homeowners now paying $7,000 to $9,000 per year, particularly near flood-prone areas along the St. Johns River. HOA fees, topping $400 a month, only add to the financial pressure. Higher mortgage rates near 7% have reduced buying power dramatically. Many buyers who could afford $350,000 in 2022 now qualify for barely $250,000. Investors are bailing, leaving entire neighborhoods with unsold properties and abandoned flips. Rental markets are softening too, forcing landlords to cut rates as demand stalls. Zillow estimates are dropping, and for sale signs are multiplying across Jacksonville, shaking local confidence. What was once one of Florida's hottest housing markets is now a cautionary tale of how quickly a boom can turn into a bust. And Jacksonville is at the epicenter of Florida's housing crash in 2025. Number 3. West Palm Beach. West Palm Beach, long a symbol of Florida's coastal luxury, is now one of the most dramatic examples of the 2025 Florida housing market crash. Between 2020 and 2022, median home prices surged nearly 70%, reaching $600,000 and driving bidding wars for waterfront condos. But by mid-2025, the boom has turned to bust. Housing inventory has jumped more than 180% in just 2 years, with nearly 40% of listings slashing prices. Many condos that once sold for $700,000 are now sitting on the market at $550,000 or less. Skyrocketing costs are the biggest driver. Condo insurance premiums have doubled or tripled, with waterfront owners paying $10,000 to $15,000 annually. HOA fees in high-rises now exceed $1,000 per month as buildings scramble to meet new reserve funding laws, pushing retirees and snowbirds to sell at steep losses. The rental market is also softening. Luxury apartments that commanded $3,000 per month in 2022 are now offering free months and concessions to attract tenants. Investors who bought at peak prices are underwater, with many dumping properties at losses or walking away entirely. Appraisals are coming in 10 to 15% below asking prices, killing deals, and accelerating the downturn. Retail vacancies and job losses are following close behind, showing how deeply real estate drives the local economy. West Palm Beach's unraveling proves that even Florida's most glamorous markets are not immune to the housing bust of 2025. Number 4. St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg, once celebrated as one of Florida's fastest-growing Gulf Coast cities, is now facing one of its steepest housing downturns in decades. Median home prices, which peaked near $420,000 in 2022, have fallen 12 to 15%, sliding into the $360,000 to $370,000 range. Inventory has exploded more than 210% since the peak, with nearly 35% of listings reporting price cuts, many by $50,000 to $100,000 just to attract offers. Affordability has collapsed, with local household incomes averaging just $65,000. Monthly mortgage payments often exceed $2,500. Before adding $7,000 to $9,000 annual insurance premiums and rising HOA fees, which now top $400 per month in many neighborhoods. The investor exodus is accelerating the pain. Airbnb hosts and condo flippers are seeing plunging occupancy rates and slashed nightly rates, forcing many to sell at losses 10 to 20% below peak values. Rents aren't providing relief either. The average two-bedroom now costs $2,200 per month, up nearly 40% from 2019, while wages have barely moved. Realtors report homes sitting on the market for 6 months or more, a dramatic shift from the bidding wars of just a few years ago. St. Petersburg's housing market crash is a sobering reminder that even Florida's most future-proof cities are vulnerable. The boom has flipped to bust, and residents are watching their home equity vanish almost overnight. Number 5. Cape Coral. Cape Coral has become the epicenter of Florida's housing collapse. What experts are calling the worst real estate market in the U.S. From 2019 to 2022, median home prices nearly doubled from $240,000 to $450,000. But by mid-2025, prices have crashed back toward $380,000, with some neighborhoods down 20 to 25%. Inventory has exploded more than 300% since 2021, leaving thousands of homes sitting unsold. Nearly 40% of active listings have slashed prices, many by $75,000 to $100,000. Yet buyers remain hesitant. The affordability crisis is driven by skyrocketing insurance premiums, now averaging $9,000 to $12,000 annually. After Hurricane Ian, many insurers abandoned the region or tripled rates, making homeownership financially crushing. HOA fees of $400 to $600 a month and property taxes topping $6,000 a year push costs even higher, forcing families to sell at losses. Investors who once fueled the boom are now bailing out. Flippers are unloading properties $50,000 to $80,000 below their purchase price, while rental demand stalls around $2,000 a month. Deals collapse as appraisals come in far below asking, freezing the market. For many residents, the dream has turned into a nightmare. Home equity is wiped out, retirees are fleeing, and realtors say Cape Coral's housing market is in freefall. What was once paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast is now a cautionary tale of housing market collapse. Number 6. Lakeland. Lakeland, once Florida's affordable sweet spot between Tampa and Orlando, is now one of the state's hardest-hit housing markets of 2025. In 2019, buyers could find a median-priced home for just $185,000. By 2022, prices exploded to nearly $325,000, a 75% jump fueled by pandemic migration and investor demand. But the boom has turned bust. By mid-2025, median prices have slid toward $260,000 to $270,000 with further declines likely. Housing inventory is up more than 280% since 2021, flooding the market with unsold homes. Nearly one-third of active listings show price reductions of $20,000 to $40,000, yet buyers are scarce. Affordability has collapsed. With local household incomes averaging $58,000, a $300,000 home at today's 7% mortgage rates means monthly payments over $2,300, before adding $5,000 to $6,000 in annual homeowners insurance. HOA fees that once barely registered now top $350 per month in many subdivisions, while property taxes exceed $4,000 annually, leaving families financially strapped. Investors are also retreating. Rents that surged to $1,800 for a two-bedroom have stagnated, forcing landlords to offer concessions or sell at losses as expenses skyrocket. Lakeland's housing crash is a sobering reminder that even budget-friendly markets aren't immune to Florida's affordability crisis. What was once billed as the perfect compromise city has become a cautionary tale of runaway costs, declining demand, and an exodus of frustrated homeowners. Number 7. Northport. Northport, once one of Florida's most hyped affordable housing markets, is now one of its biggest 2025 real estate crash stories. Between 2019 and 2022, the city's median home price nearly doubled from $220,000 to over $420,000. But by mid-2025, prices have plunged back toward $340,000, wiping out years of equity gains. Housing inventory has surged over 230% in just 2 years, with nearly 39% of listings showing price cuts. Many slashed $50,000 or more. Even steep discounts aren't enough to lure buyers, as soaring insurance premiums devastate affordability. Annual costs that once averaged $2,500 now exceed $8,000 to $10,000, while property taxes often top $5,000 per year. Retirees, once the core of Northport's demand, are fleeing to cheaper states. Developers who overbuilt during the boom are stuck with unsold subdivisions, discounting new homes 20 to 25% below last year's prices just to stay afloat. The pain is brutal for peak buyers, many now underwater by $60,000 to $100,000. Investors are also bailing out. Rents for three-bedroom homes have fallen from $2,200 in 2022 to around $1,900, while landlord expenses keep climbing, turning profits negative. Northport, once marketed as Florida's affordable paradise, is now a glaring warning sign. Street after street of for-sale signs mark the city's transformation from booming hotspot to one of the most dramatic housing market busts of 2025. Number 8. Palm Bay. Palm Bay, once promoted as one of Florida's last affordable housing markets, is now at the heart of a major real estate collapse. In 2021, median home prices hovered around $210,000, drawing retirees, remote workers, and investors looking for cheap properties. By late 2022, prices surged nearly 60%, peaking close to $330,000. But the boom has turned to bust. By mid-2025, Palm Bay's housing inventory has exploded, with homes sitting unsold for months and price cuts bringing values back toward $250,000 to $270,000. Nearly 35% of listings have recorded reductions, one of the highest percentages in Florida. Sellers are slashing prices by tens of thousands just to escape skyrocketing costs. Home insurance premiums have tripled, averaging $6,500 to $9,000 annually for many coastal homeowners. Pandemic-era property tax assessments remain high, pushing annual tax bills above $4,000, turning ownership into a financial burden. Overbuilding has made the downturn worse. Entire subdivisions built during the boom now sit half-empty, with developers cutting deals to unload inventory. Demand has evaporated as 7% mortgage rates crush affordability. A family earning $60,000 a year can no longer qualify for a $300,000 home. Investors are also capitulating. Rents have stalled around $1,700 a month, while insurance and maintenance costs wipe out profits, forcing landlords to sell at losses. Palm Bay's rapid rise and sharp fall make it one of Florida's clearest examples of the 2025 housing market crash. Number 9. Fort Myers. Fort Myers, part of the Cape Coral-Fort Myers metro area, is experiencing one of the worst housing market collapses in the U.S. Once a pandemic boom town, Fort Myers saw median home prices skyrocket nearly 70% from 2019 to 2022, peaking around $420,000. But by 2025, the bubble has burst. Median prices have plunged 15 to 20%, now hovering near $340,000, with more declines expected as inventory surges. Housing supply has exploded by over 250% since 2021, flooding the market with unsold homes. Nearly 40% of active listings have slashed prices, many by $75,000 to $100,000, and luxury properties that once listed near $1 million are being relisted in the $700,000. The affordability crisis is crushing families. Insurance premiums now average $10,000 to $12,000 annually after Hurricane Ian's devastation, while HOA fees exceed $500 per month in many communities. Property taxes, recalculated at peak pandemic values, are pushing homeowners to the brink. Investors are fleeing, rental demand is softening, and foreclosures are quietly ticking upward. The once red-hot Gulf Coast market has flipped from bidding wars to desperate price cuts, leaving thousands of residents underwater. Fort Myers is no longer a safe haven. It's ground zero for Florida's housing meltdown, a warning of just how fast paradise can turn into financial disaster. Number 10. Punta Gorda. Punta Gorda, Florida, once a top retirement destination on the Gulf Coast, is now ground zero for one of the most dramatic housing market downturns in the state. Median home prices soared nearly 65% between 2020 and 2022, peaking near $420,000 for a single-family home. But by mid-2025, the boom turned into a bust. Housing inventory exploded by 240%, forcing sellers to slash prices 20 to 30% just to compete. Many listings now sit under $300,000, signaling a stunning collapse from the bidding wars of only a few years ago. The causes are a perfect storm: skyrocketing homeowners, insurance premiums of $8,000 to $10,000 annually, rising HOA fees, and oversupply from new construction colliding with falling demand. Retirees are cashing out and leaving, worried that rising costs will drain their savings. Even investors and cash buyers are feeling the pain as rental income stagnates and carrying costs surge. Nearly 40% of Punta Gorda's active listings have seen price cuts, and distressed sales are quietly increasing. Appraisals are coming in $50,000 to $80,000 below contract prices, causing deals to collapse and forcing desperate renegotiations. What was once a peaceful retirement paradise is quickly becoming one of Florida's most shocking real estate corrections of 2025. A stark warning that even sunny markets aren't immune to housing busts. The Florida housing market is sending shockwaves across the country, and these cities are living proof that the real estate boom has turned into a full-blown bust. Homeowners are losing equity, insurance costs are skyrocketing, and investors are fleeing, leaving entire neighborhoods with "for sale" signs collecting dust. But this is just the beginning. Will Florida's housing market stabilize, or are we headed for an even bigger crash that spreads nationwide? We want to hear from you. Do you think prices will keep falling, or is this the perfect time to buy before the market rebounds? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our daily deep dives. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, with more breaking updates.